won't allow me. All right, I came here to brief you on the discussion on the Nord Stream, which we just had in the Security Council. Perhaps you followed it. We heard the same narrative from our Western colleagues, that we should not prejudge the German investigation, that is effective, and they have no doubt in the effectiveness of investigation. That's why the Security Council should not engage in this matter before we know the results. But the problem is that we have no clue what the German investigation is about. We already had the Danish and Swedish investigation officially completed without bringing to light any results, because there were no results. They just had to confess that they confirmed it was an act of sabotage, but they didn't have a clue who might have done it. So this is an unpleasant subject for our Western colleagues, and today, as one of my colleagues in the Security Council said, we had the most effective meeting of the Council that lasted 45 minutes. All meetings should be like this, but it was 45 minutes because they have nothing to say. I mean, they repeat their narrative, which we heard many times before. And you know that we came up, I think it was a third attempt that we wanted to produce some reaction from the Security Council in the form of the PRST. We worked on it in good faith. We made a lot of concessions. We tried to accommodate their concerns as much as we could, but to no avail, because they are trying to avoid naming, calling a spade, recognize that it was a deliberate act of terrorism in line with the relevant international convention of 1997, citing incompleteness of the investigation that would have proven it. So again, we heard nothing substantive from our Western colleagues, and we feel like they want to drag on this investigation by Germany indefinitely, so that they cannot say anything definitive when the facts are on the table. But we will not hesitate to continue putting that subject on the agenda. It is already on the agenda because it is obviously a threat to international peace and security. And of course we are conducting our own investigation and will be demanding from those parties involved, including Germany, to share with us the findings which they have not shared and we are not sure are going to share with us in any foreseeable time. So that's basically what I wanted to tell you about.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you for doing this. Can you tell us why Russia decided to press for a presidential statement before the German investigation is concluded? And have you gotten any indication of when the results of that investigation might be released?
We decided to push for it before the German investigation is completed, because the German investigation may last forever. And we may not live up to the time when it is completed. And that's a good excuse. That's a good excuse to sabotage this time any decision or any product of the Security Council, citing the incomplete state of the German investigation. But one of the things that our Western colleagues object to is to call it the act of terrorism, because the investigation has not established it, while the German Chancellor Scholz himself on 14th of September recognized it was an act of terrorism. But our colleagues, in particular France today, you heard it, you saw it in the Council, was defending the effectiveness of the German investigation and was advising not to prejudge it, and that is the reason why they refused to call it an act of terrorism. For us, it's obvious it was an act of terrorism, not just sabotage this pipelines did not blow up by themselves. Of course, there were perpetrators, and the way the investigation is being conducted clearly tells us that there is something to hide for them, and that's why they want to drag it on and on and on and on.
So we are talking about that we are waiting up for Germany investigation and trying to speed up. Have any Security Council member tried to invite Germany to the Security Council meeting to give at least a small brief?
We did. When once, I think initially, all three countries involved, Germany, Denmark, and Sweden, were in the council, made statements, basically about nothing, about the need to investigate and to find the truth. Then, when we called them later, they never came. Sending letters, basically empty letters to the President of the Security Council on the continuation investigation. Now Sweden and Denmark are out of the game. We have only Germany left, but they choose not to appear, again, quoting their continuing investigation.
Just to follow up, have you invited Germany to this particular meeting?
Did we? No, we didn't, because it's obviously useless.
Ambassador, I remember last time you said Russia probably will prepare a draft resolution concerning Nord Stream here in the Security Council. How's that going now? And do you really expect the Council would give any concrete reaction, let's say, on this issue?
We were discussing and negotiating a resolution once. It didn't fly because of the reasons that I tried to explain. We then lowered our ambitions to PRST, which didn't fly either. I wonder when finally, hopefully, eventually, the investigation is completed, what will they say then when we offer a product of the Security Council? What reasons they will find to sabotage the one that would not be excused by anything that is going on outside.
Thank you, Vassily Nebenzia. Your French counterpart, in his response, said that the Russian Federation needs to, in his words, wait patiently for the German report. What is your response to that, number one? And number two, sir, you're still calling for an independent investigation as well. Is that correct? And where do you foresee that going in the future?
When my French colleague said it, he never gave us any timeline. And we don't know how long we should be patient about that. Is it months, days, months, years, decades? For some, preferably decades, but I think that that's a bit excessive. On the investigation, international investigation, I think besides us, we didn't refer to it today, but we did refer to it earlier. Today, I think it was Algeria that mentioned that subject, but it is going nowhere because in order for the international investigation to happen, there should be an agreement of the parties who are involved and who are requesting an investigation, and we offered it in the beginning in the Security Council, but and UN said as usual that they would be prepared if they have a mandate, but there is no mandate for it.
And the Germans aren't giving you any indication
No.
of how much longer this will
No, we do not receive any replies officially sent to them to keep us abreast and to give us information on the ongoing investigation. We have nothing. No, we send replies through the official channels, through our judiciary authorities, but replies never come back.
Do you think their investigation is credible?
That's a question which is difficult to answer. So far, we don't have any evidence whether it's credible or not. But we might speculate that it might not be credible.
If you don't mind, Ambassador, as you know, Israel bombed Beirut overnight in a residential area. They said they're targeting one person. The Russian Federation's response to this continued aggression on Lebanon.
Absolutely inadmissible. I mean, they're targeting one person, collaterally killing civilians. Then the count is already over 1,000. I will not be surprised if it'll be in thousands shortly. You know that we had a meeting on that issue the other day, and you heard everyone who spoke what. We said it clearly. We are, luckily I think, and this is not boasting, we are one country that can afford to call a spade a spade. And I think that many would like to say similar things, but they simply cannot afford it. But the rhetoric of our Western colleagues in the meeting called jointly strange alliance by Iran and Israel, each on its own matter, boiled down in their narrative to Iran being the culprit of all that is happening in the region, as if that happened in a vacuum, as if there is no Gaza, there is no Lebanon, there is no Yemen, there is no Syria, etc. So we said it clearly that it should be stopped immediately. That is fraught with the regional confrontation and conflagration is already there. How far it will expand, that's another question. You see these belligerent remarks both by Israel and Iran. I'm sure, we are sure, and we said it openly in the Council, that Israel dreams to involve US into the game. So what awaits us in the future is really worrisome. Thank you very much.